For a building in this condition, is it worth saving?
Hi, I'm Marika Snyder,
And I'm Chris Buchanan.
and we're here at the Ohio History Center.
We're working on preserving the Benjamin Lundy House and free labor store in Mount Pleasant, Ohio, and we'll be sharing a series of videos during this process. The house was built in 1812, and in 1820 it became the home of abolitionist Benjamin Lundy. He ran an anti-slavery newspaper out of a no longer existing building on the site. In 1838, a free labor store was added to the house. As a matter of conscience, it sold no goods made with slave labor. It's the last free labor store in Ohio, and possibly the last one in the country. Unfortunately, the building was badly neglected and is in poor condition. The purpose of this trip to the site is to measure the building and figure out what we need to know more about. So we'll take you on a tour. This front wall developed a big bow, and it looks like the only thing holding the wall up are these concrete stairs that were poured up against it. Here we see 12 over 12 windows, which probably date to its original construction. And you can see a bit of the OSB soffit. That was part of a temporary construction to put a protective roof over the building. Here you can see damage under the windows. Even the sill is cracked. And now if you look back at the door, you can see there's a difference of about 4 inches over less than 8 feet. That's a pretty substantial tilt. There's a lot of cracked window sills and headers. Fortunately, the brick itself looks like it's in pretty good shape. The sandblasting guys haven't been out here, so it looks like the brick may never have been cleaned before. So these bricks should clean up beautifully. Now let's go inside where it really gets scary.
You can see one of our many structural problems, basically from the crawl space all the way up to the roof. We had the roof off for years, kind of raining down through the house, and it's just rotted a hole right through the house here. I'm not sure what exactly is supporting those, but we're definitely avoiding walking around above those for a pretty good reason, you can see.
And from the outside, you can see the bulge at that point. This is the free store. It's pretty small.
Like all these moldings and these casings, these are all new. They're kind of close reproductions of what was there. But you can see the way this tapers down. So evidently what they did is after the wall had settled out, they just came in here and they recased all that, not bothering to reset the window frame. So that's something that's going to have to be corrected, and obviously all this stuff will come out of there and we'll reset the window frame once the wall's repaired.
We don't know if this doorway is original, so that's something we need to figure out, as well as why they made the stairs this way. But there is evidence of an original chair rail in this room.
In this period, typically they fastened the moldings right to the walls, to the brick walls before they were plastered, and then once those were on, they came in and they plastered to them. So when you take it off, you have a channel right down to the brick that has to be filled in, so there's a real distinctive scar from where that went. And the interesting thing here is that it follows all the way around the building, around this room on 2 floors. So it tells us that this partition was not here, that was originally part of the room.
So now let's go into the danger room.
Yeah, so here we have what was probably a kind of a bad detail. Originally there's a valley that takes a lot of water, and if that's not kept up on, you start getting water infiltration right on top of your bearing wall there. So you're looking at just years of neglect here that's just rotted that wall out. The roof's let go. So stone lintel, you can see out of the 3 courses of brick, that stone lintel is only in the outside, and that's usually pretty typical. But then you can see on the inside, supporting the 2 inner layers of brick, there is a wood lintel, just a piece of wood, but it's laid down flat rather than being up horizontally. You know, at the time they just didn't understand the structural principles involved.
The temporary shoring wall was put up to give it quite a bit more stability. Now let's move into the sunken room.
So this is a kitchen addition that was put on the back of the house. You know, judging from the hardware and everything, probably the 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't know. But for whatever reason, it's just kind of sunken into the ground. So I don't know if that's the result of wall leaks, plumbing leaks, or a combination, but nothing good. This is the room that shows you a lot of the way the carpentry was done originally, in 1812, this was some pretty nice carpentry for a house out in the country like this. So, it tells you that this house was pretty well finished, probably pretty well furnished. It was meant to make a very refined impression.
Moving upstairs, we can see a room that's mostly original. All of the casework and the layout are typical of Federal style. But the mantelpiece was replaced sometime in the 20th century, when they put this brick thing on. But there are some indications of where the original mantel went, and you can see how nicely crafted these panels are. They're very deep. At the stair landing, you can see how a mortise and tenon is supposed to look. You can see that the tenon passes right through the mortise, and that's how you make your structure. But the walls have shifted, so you can see that this one is about out of its mortise, and this one is completely out of the mortise. If you would like to support the restoration of the Benjamin Lundy House and Free Labor Store and Ohio history, please contribute to the Ohio History Connection.